there is a phenomenon that I find very interesting, and that is how very commonly people who are in, let's call it the upper middle class, so the people who are comfortable in their lives, they go on holiday a couple times a year, they have a nice house, they have nice cars, they're having a pretty good life apparently. Commonly, these people have serious psychological issues or addiction issues, or their kids have serious issues, and it seems like such a contradiction of what things should be like for someone who's apparently in a very good, well-off position, who has apparently a nice life. And from the outside it does seem to be a nice life, but when you talk to the people themselves, or when you talk to people who know and are in those circles, what you'll find out is that it's not unusual for about half of the people in a particular well-off community to be pretty much functional alcoholics, or for the wives to have eating disorders or drug habits, for the kids to have ADD, ADHD, and all kinds of other developmental issues. For example, behavioral problems in kids. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in any other social or economic group. Obviously, all of these things happen in all of the different social groups. However, my focus here is on the fact that we have lots of people in the world who are proving that money does not create happiness, and that you can have a nice life. Apparently you can have all the nice things, but that doesn't actually fulfill you. And my theory, at least that I see would be applicable in a large number of these people's lives, is that when you're living a life without much purpose, without much in the way of contributing to society and contributing to your fellow humans, it gets quite empty, and you look for things to fill that emptiness with, and things like alcohol tend to be used. So now when we look at, okay, we know that the world as it is now is not functional. We know that there is a huge imbalance in how we're living, but the imbalance is not just money, as is proven by these people who are miserable and have money. It's not just about money. Money is just, let's call it a symptom of the bigger problem, of the bigger illness that we're all suffering from, and that has more to do with who we are and how we live in this life that has been gifted to us. How do we make our lives valuable to our society, to our communities? How are we creating purpose for ourselves? How are we benefiting the world around us? How are we being the guardians of life, which we should be? So obviously all of these things we are not doing. And most importantly, when it comes to things like general satisfaction with life, that's not something that is easily attained when you don't have a good relationship with yourself, when you don't know how to deal with challenges that come up in your life, when you don't know how to deal with emotional issues that come up within you. And this is the case for a lot of people, maybe even most people. We don't know how to live with ourselves and how to make the most of this life, just even within ourselves. we get so lost in our emotional ups and downs and in our little obsessions and possessions, and we lose touch with ourselves so completely that by the end of our lives we look back and wonder who we are. How did I get here? Was it all worth it? And obviously those moments of reflection are coming too late. What we need to be doing is reflecting in every moment of every day. Is this who I want to be? Is this how I want to approach this problem? Is this how I want to respond to that situation? Is this how I want to treat my friends and family and co-workers? Is this the person I want to be? And if it's not, then how do I change it? So that process of self-reflection, of learning from ourselves, learning from our mistakes, and deliberately creating change within ourselves is one of the biggest aspects that has the greatest potential to make a real effect on how we experience ourselves in our lives, and therefore how we live our lives and how we are part of our communities. So those are just my short thoughts on the point of the value of money and the effect of money, or rather the lack thereof, and how it's always only us. We are the ones who determine how we live our lives and how we experience ourselves, and money does not change that. Alright, if you have any questions, comments, if you want to be part of the discussion, leave a comment or send a direct message. You can send me your requests as well. If you'd like to support me, you can do so on Patreon or on Steemit, which is like a social network with its own cryptocurrency. Otherwise, thank you for watching. I will see you next time.